afternoon, ladies and gentlemen, students, staff, donors, and most importantly, to the recipients of various awards for this afternoon. Today is an important day for us as a faculty as we celebrate your academic achievements, and you are joining us live in our Future Africa studios. I am joined in the studio by the Dean of the Faculty of Law, Professor Schoeman, and we're also joined by the Vice Chancellor and Principal, Professor Tawana Kupe, online. This affirms the importance of this event and the commitment of the faculty in excellence. We celebrate excellence, and at the same time, this event is aiming to encourage other students to reach these heights. This is in line with the inclusive approach we have adopted as a law faculty. Without any further ado, allow me now to introduce the Dean of the Faculty of Law, Professor Elsie Schoeman. Dean.
Thank you, Professor Maimela. Dear Vice Chancellor and Principal, Professor Tawana Kupe, UP Law donors, Deputy Dean, Professor Charles Maimela, graduates, students, and staff, all protocols observed. Again, a hearty welcome to this joyous virtual occasion, UP Law's 2019 and 2020 Annual Recognition of Achievement functions combined with the 2019 and 2020 Dean's Merit lists. This evening's celebrations and recognition of exceptional performances are a first for many of us. I am honored and grateful to host this combined function as Dean of UP Law. It is Professor Charles Maimela's, as well as my first ROA, and UP Law's first virtual ROA since the advent of COVID-19. The purpose of this combined function is to celebrate UP Law's brilliant minds and hard-working graduates and students of the past 2 academic years. Sadly, we had to postpone last year's function, and when we realized this year that COVID again prohibits us from giving praise where praise is due, we just knew we had to make a plan, and we trust that this solution is to the satisfaction of all parties involved. You, our graduate and student achievers, and your loved ones will agree that the public recognition of all your efforts and performances is well-deserved and vital. We also recognize that some of our graduates and students had to overcome huge financial obstacles to triumph, and to you, hats off. In turn, our UP Law's donors will agree that the recognition of their contributions, some over many decades, remains vital. This event also emphasizes and illustrates that UP Law needs and depends on close liaisons with our colleagues and supporters in law firms, as we are dependent on their support and goodwill. They are also the current and future employers of our graduates, and therefore we value close relations and feedback to ensure that UP Law graduates remain their preferred recruitment focus. And, perhaps best of all, this platform allows for the most hardy and loyal supporters of our exceptional students and graduates to tune in to the joyous occasion from all over the world. Allow me to provide you with a brief synopsis of UP Law's actions and activities since the advent of COVID, which last year immediately challenged us to move teaching and learning online as emergency remote teaching. Fortunately, since the University of Pretoria was already operating according to a hybrid teaching and learning model, we were well equipped to move all our modules swiftly and successfully online. However, for effective and successful emergency remote teaching, staff and students required internet-enabled devices and access. Thus, we literally moved overnight from privilege to must-have technology. As soon, there was a shortage of laptops with concomitant challenges in getting these delivered to remote areas. In addition, data was prohibitively expensive, and we had to secure solutions to avoid an additional financial burden on our students. Despite a magnitude of challenges, UP Law proudly declares that we concluded the 2020 academic year successfully and plans to do so in 2021, thanks to technology and the hard work and dedication by all UP parties involved. COVID necessitated us to explore and introduce a variety of new teaching and learning formats, ranging from narrated PowerPoints, short videos and cartoons, live virtual sessions, as well as computer games to cater for Gen Z. All 2020 assessments were conducted online, which provided challenges in terms of maintaining the integrity of our qualifications. For this purpose, various control mechanisms were introduced to ensure UP Law's assessment integrity and standard, as well as the reputability of our academic programs. Moving literally overnight from attendance classes to online was very intense for staff and students. All the usual contact support structures fell away, while staff had to virtually teach and guide, devising, developing, and implementing instantaneous adjusted teaching and learning methods, combined with dealing with a plethora of student queries ranging from academic queries to student well-being. Working or studying from home, often with a family, was a huge adjustment for everyone, and consequently, the boundaries between home and work disintegrated completely. While UP Law gratefully confirms that we have managed to complete the academic year successfully, the isolation and the 24/7 work and study pattern have undeniably taken its toll on well-being. While we have all upskilled, technologically speaking, combined with a huge sense of achievement in having persevered and completed the 2020 academic year, the impact of the lack of social interaction and the lasting shadow and strain of COVID remain. At this time, it is also apt to extend our deepest condolences to all who have experienced COVID's destruction and the loss of health and loved ones. As Dean, my greatest challenge is to keep UP Law cohesive and motivated, and to remain in touch with the student body. Initially, the virtual platforms were new and exciting, but now the novelty has worn off, and it becomes more difficult to engage with staff and students. I remain concerned about staff and student well-being, but as we reimagine all our academic activities, we also find new ways to engage meaningfully on the topic of well-being. We now live in a different world, and we will never return to where we were before the pandemic struck. We have reimagined the way we do things, and people have shown great resilience in dealing with numerous challenges, as well as agility in adjusting to new ways of teaching and learning and research. Virtual platforms have opened up many new opportunities for global engagement. Although we may still be in lockdown, we can greatly expand our frontiers as far as scholarly endeavors are concerned. This will enhance our global ranking, affirming our status as a global law faculty in Africa. We have all come to realize that the real wealth of our lives is our health. On this note, let me conclude by wishing the world's inhabitants health, safety, peace, and prosperity. May we all reach out during this time to those who are facing immense financial struggles and work towards the alleviation of poverty. Yes, we cannot change the world, the whole world, but we can change someone's world. Exceptional achievers, again, a hearty congratulations to you all. Academic and professional staff, we gratefully recognize your invaluable roles in the tuition of our students and your research output. Indeed, you have walked and often bolted the extra mile. Thank you. To our esteemed and faithful donors, thank you. We value you. A function such as this will be impossible without your continued support. Give yourselves all a round of applause. To conclude, graduates and students, We are following your studies and careers closely. Stay in touch as alumni. You and our efforts, your efforts and our efforts to strive towards a just and fair society for all must continue despite the many obstacles in our paths. In the words of Barack Obama, change will not come if we wait for some other person or some other time. We are the ones we have been waiting for. We are the change that we seek. Be the change. UP Law is very proud of you all. I thank you. I would now like to introduce Professor Tawana Kupe, Principal and Vice Chancellor, and ask him to deliver the main address. Thank you. Professor Kupe.
Thank you, Dean Elsabi, and good evening. Deputy Dean Professor Charles Maimela, esteemed UP Law donors, colleagues, graduates, and students. As Vice Chancellor and Principal of the University of Pretoria, I'm honored to address you, our virtual audience, at this joyous occasion, celebrating and recognizing the Faculty of Law student achievers from the 2019 and 2020 academic years that have been disrupted, as the Dean spoke, by the COVID-19 pandemic. As University of Pretoria, we're grateful to have managed this virtual event in recognition of our students' dedication and excellence, some of which are already alumni carving out their careers. I'm quite sure they will have illustrious careers. We are celebrating via a technology platform, which is indeed a different way than we have become used to over the years. And of course, we would have loved to honor you in celebrating your achievements in person. Regrettably, this is not currently an option. Exceptional achievers from 2020, we realize it was not easy to study under extraordinary circumstances. However, it is through your enthusiasm and tenacity that you were able to achieve academic access, so to speak, against all odds. And we respect and rejoice that you were able to excel. We are here this evening to honor your tenacity, perseverance, resilience, and drive to excel, despite all of that was and is happening all around you. Congratulations to our exceptional achievers. You deserve a virtual ovation. Next, I wish to extend my gratitude to UP's Law donors and friends of the faculty. We greatly appreciate the fact that our faculty, which terms higher education, has ranked for 4 consecutive years as the top law faculty in Africa, directly benefits from your donations to our achievers. Linking your reputable law firms to UP Law is evidence of the confidence you have in recognizing the value of our law students and graduates, and UP Law's ability to produce world-class graduates who will also contribute positively to the global community after obtaining their degrees. My appreciation to all Faculty of Law staff members for their enormous and at times unique efforts to support and guide our students on their respective journeys to success. Also, I'm proud to recognize UP's various student support mechanisms and campaigns, such as Fly at UP, The Finish Line is Yours, and the UP Way, to mention a few of the many initiatives which are student-focused to realize the best in our students' potential to achieve and complete their studies within minimum time. It is also a UP goal to ensure that our graduates are really ready to apply knowledge and skills that they've acquired at the university. We support our students for life beyond university as we aim to produce graduates ready to make a global impact. I would also like to thank all members of your families and your community at large who have contributed towards your achievements in one way or the other. University of Pretoria is proud of you, our students and alumni, and pleased that you are part and parcel of Africa's top Faculty of Law. You are part of the critical driving force behind access to justice to create and ensure an equitable, just, and fair society for all. The truth of the statement is perhaps never been more tangibly evident than it is in a few weeks ago, when the mass looting and anarchy that occurred in KwaZulu-Natal and Gauteng rocked the very foundations of the rule of law and our constitution. While it might make some time to investigate who was behind the unrest, and I hold back on venturing into political territory, the situation highlighted just how critically important it is for the country's top universities to maintain leading law faculties, which play a keystone role in developing students who are going to serve their society with their valuable knowledge and skills, upholding justice and bringing the fruits thereof, which is peace. The situation made me reflect on the immense contribution of the late Professor Christoph Haynes, who held several positions at UP, including Director of the Center for Human Rights, Dean of the Faculty of Law, and founding co-director of the Institute for International and Comparative Law, and whose untimely passing in March this year saw tributes pour in from every corner of the globe, describing his extraordinary accomplishments. Ladies and gentlemen, there is a saying that goes, that graveyards are full of irreplaceable people. But in Prof. Christoph Haynes' case, it is such that this is an irreplaceable loss. Former Deputy Chief Justice of South Africa, Justice Tihaneng Moseneke, said in his tribute that he personally knew Prof. Haynes in the dark days of apartheid and colonialism, and that the young activist opposed apartheid openly and embraced notions of an inclusive and socially just society. Prof. Haynes, along with many other brilliant legal minds and dedicated souls, worked tirelessly for a new democratic South Africa, making an important contribution to our strong and valuable constitution. At UP, his legacy lives on through each and every student whose life was touched by his teaching. Center for Human Rights, which Prof. Haynes co-founded, turns 35 this year. While it was initially aimed against apartheid, the center has subsequently transformed and embraced a broader Pan-African focus and has become an ardent advocate for the promotion and protection of human rights for all in Africa, and a proponent for a strong African human rights system. The center has successfully invested in building a community of human rights advocates across the continent through its academic programs and alumni network, as well as other education tools such as the advanced human rights short courses and moot competitions. It enjoys observer status with the African Commission on Human and People's Rights, the African Committee of Experts on the Child and Welfare of the Child, and consultative status with the UN Economic, Social, and Cultural Council. The center pursues academic excellence through the presentation of master's and doctoral programs and advances African scholarship by conducting and publishing relevant research on human rights and governance in Africa, and does this in a trailblazing way. It publishes high-quality research in the form of peer-reviewed journals, the African Rights Yearbook, and the African Human Rights Law Journal, and other publications. It has since 2000 presented the Masters in Human Rights and Democratization in Africa program. It is presented in partnership with 12 law faculties across the African continent. Close to 600 graduates of the program have subsequently been advancing human rights in Africa in various capacities, including as chairpersons of the African Commission and Children's Committee, a judge of the International Criminal Court, senior technical staff of AU and human rights mechanisms, senior national judges, deans of faculties of law, academics, founders and leaders of NGOs, human rights defenders, litigants, and senior government officials. The Human Rights and Democracy program is now also part of the Global Campus for Human Rights, a network of 7 leading master's programs across the world. The LLM, the Masters in Law in International and Trade Investment Law in Africa, was introduced in recognition that in order for Africa to experience sustainable and equitable development, it needed lawyers who have the knowledge and skills to be effective international trade and investment lawyers, but who also understand how these areas of the law relate to human rights. This program is presented in conjunction with the University of the Western Cape. The Center also presents 2 master's programs through a combination of online and in-person delivery modes, the blended or hybrid model, in the Masters in Sexual and Reproductive Rights in Africa and the Masters in Disability Rights in Africa. The Institute for International and Comparative Law in Africa is institutionally linked to the center. Prof. Haynes' last position at UP was as director of the Institute for International and Comparative Law, during which time he served 2 terms as the UN Special Rapporteur on extrajudicial killings and a term as member of the UN Human Rights Committee. A number of the graduates from the doctoral students from work on themes related to freedom from violence. While former President Jacob Zuma's arrest may have sparked the riots we witnessed in July, it is reasonable to say that the underlying reasons were hunger, poverty, and unemployment. That does not excuse any looting or any violence perpetrated therefore. Of a population of 60 million, only 15 million of South Africans are employed, with a shocking 46.3% of our young registering as unemployed in the first quarter of 2021. According to the United Nations, South Africa's Gini coefficient makes us the most unequal country in the whole wide world, where the wealthiest 10% of the population holds more than half of the nation's income. With such a vulnerable population, having a legal system which defends the basic human rights of every individual, regardless of their status or position in society, is a necessary and powerful tool for transformation. Necessary and powerful tool for achieving social justice. In South Africa and indeed across Africa, in susceptible contexts, we see children become victims of human rights violations. In this regard, UP is proud of the ongoing work of the Center for Child Law, which has for just over 20 years advanced its goal of imagining children constitutionally through contributing to the protection and implementation of children's rights and the national legal framework for the benefit of children's well-being in South Africa. The Center for Child Law's work aims to establish systemic change and sustainable impact by developing the law to the benefit of children. The Center has kept duty bearers accountable to the implementation of court decisions as well as obligations set out in national and international law through advocacy-related activities and research. Advocacy-related activities include engagement with government departments on improvement of the implementation of the law and with Parliament on the development of the law to promote children's full and equal participation in society. The Center for Child Law's precedent-setting litigation has resulted in judgments and court orders that have not only developed child law jurisprudence, but also made a positive impact on children's lived realities. A 2018 perusal of South African jurisprudence on child law and children's rights shows that the center's cases make up most of the child law jurisprudence in South Africa. The Center for Child Law has recently successfully litigated against NSFAS and the Department of Higher Education to expand the categories of persons who can apply for funding for higher education, from just citizens to citizens and permanent residents. This was on behalf of a former child client who came to South Africa as an asylum seeker and who the Center for Child Law had assisted to obtain permanent residence. The client wanted to pursue higher education, but the NSFAS guidelines were an obstacle. Subsequent to the Center for Child Law issuing the court papers, NSFAS and the Department of Higher Education decided to settle this matter by agreeing to amend the guidelines. It is these kinds of victories which will slowly and with much toil and tenacity win the battle we are fighting towards the equal, just, thriving society we long to see. The COVID-19 pandemic has, of course, exacerbated and brought multiple crises to the fore, which are symptomatic of the deep fault lines in the way we live on our planet. Throughout time, however, civilizations of the world over have faced all sorts of diseases and disruptions, And what is critical now is how we respond to them. For UP, last year provided us with further opportunity to holistically rethink, reimagine, and reposition our role as a university in creating a better future for South Africa and our continent. We need to come up with strategies we can collaboratively implement as a matter of urgency to achieve greater social impact. Universities need to be at the forefront of this lane change and need to be strongly and visibly experienced as key drivers and collaborative agents of change, with the research voices at Africa's universities championing context-appropriate strategies and solutions. All universities now need to be deliberate and urgent about dismantling disciplinary silos, intentional boundaries as well as and borders. Societal problems and challenges do not come neatly packaged to fit into disciplinary thinking or national boundaries. They are transdisciplinary. Thinking beyond disciplines and boundaries requires bold new thinking and agile shifts. It demands us to be much more communicative about why and what we research and how such responds to society's major challenges and wicked problems. The upwelling of transdisciplinary research locally and globally offers a unique opportunity for universities to take the lead in creating and co-creating new knowledge and new ways of doing things. There is scope for every student across the law faculty and across every faculty at UP to collaborate across disciplines and to form partnerships to unearth novel, creative, and innovative solutions to address the multiplicity of critical problems facing our country, continent, and the world. In response to this need, UP has in the past 3 years established 4 new major platforms to foster a transdisciplinary and interdisciplinary research culture across the university community. There are some that pre-exist these 4, but these 4 are the latest, if you like, and also operate on a much larger scale. Future Africa is an innovative hub, which aims to become a Pan-African space for thinking, research, and learning to tackle continental problems and develop research that lays the foundation for civil society, governments, and industry to address the challenges that Africa and the world are facing. It is worth noting that Prof. Christoph Haynes was also one of the brains behind this initiative. And before his passing on, he was going to occupy one of the chairs that will drive research that is transdisciplinary, Pan-African in nature. He was a very passionate Pan-Africanist, as you might remember. The Javits UP Art Center, which opened on Heritage Day in 2019, provides a public showcase for our national treasures, holding, for example, the Mapungubwe Gold Collection, as well as the Anglo Gold Collection, elevating art family into the public domain. It is aimed at advancing interdisciplinary knowledge of arts, art history, curation, art education, conservation, and heritage preservation. It's meant to bring the arts of the world to Africa and take the arts of Africa to the rest of the world. Engineering 4.0 is the brainchild of our leading engineering faculty and focuses on artificial intelligence and smart technology applications in transport and spatial planning related areas. Needless to say, Engineering 4 has since its inception and is launched in February, the soft launch, and the public launch in November 2020, now traverses beyond engineering borders and boundaries into other related disciplines across the university. 4, transportation is but human, and human matters cannot only be addressed by engineering infrastructure. Innovation Africa at UP is a platform focused on agriculture-related activities to support world-class capacity development and research programs, such as in food security, smart agriculture, nutrition, plant health, and biosecurity. All of these innovations, the new ones, including the existing ones, so for example, the 2 centers I mentioned in this speech, are transdisciplinary centers because they do not look at things purely with the lens of the law and the legal technicalities, but they seek to enhance just and social justice in society. All of these innovations have attracted leading local and global partners, partnerships which we manage through a multilateral approach. UP strongly supports the internationalization of knowledge and global engagement. And about 44% of the research we conduct is done with international collaborators. Of course, we're going to increase this percentage. The advantage of international collaboration is that it enables universities to take significant research and innovation leaps by building on each other's areas of expertise. It also elevates learning and research facilities to a new level, including teaching and collaborating across continents with the use of online platforms. So expect to see new hybrid programs. UP's foresight in adopting a hybrid approach to teaching and learning in 2014 allowed us to be alive to the opportunities provided by both rapid technological change and disruption, and ensured an almost seamless transition to exclusive online teaching when COVID-19 hit, a point the date made earlier. We did not have to waste time playing catch up, and it also placed us among those very few institutions that were ahead of the pack. So, for example, of the 26 public universities, only 10 completed academic year 2020 in 2020. UP was one of them. Another way in which UP, and indeed UP Law, is leading the way is through the recent relaunch of the university's curriculum transformation drive. Curriculum transformation in the higher education sector has been gaining traction locally and globally, particularly from students, government, and other stakeholders, including stakeholders in the law fraternity, including some leading law firms. South Africa's higher education institutions are tasked with the implementation of curriculum transformation as a response to the global and local pressures faced to create a new identity befitting the emerging South African educational discourse and practice. Dean Professor Elsa Skuman, speaking at the first installment of the UP Curriculum Transformation Lecture Series in June, highlighted the law faculty's deep commitment to the process, saying that the faculty strives to respond and be relevant to the uniquely diverse community we serve in order to achieve the realization of social justice in one of the most unequal societies in the world. Professor Tinyiko Maluleke, Deputy Director, Center for the Advancement of Scholarship, in sharing his views on the subject at the same event said, and I quote, "The aim of education packaged in a transformed curriculum should be as much to free the mind and to make sure that no man-made chains can continue to bind the mind," close quote. The process of rethinking, reimagining, recreating, and creating new courses and curricula in all disciplines at UP is based on the critical examination of current knowledge on current and growing knowledge and changing knowledge on race, class, disability, religion, sexuality, nationality, and gender expression, and non-binary orientation. Our curriculum transformation also takes into account the very fact that technologies associated with the fourth industrial revolution will lead to a transformation of current professions and also to the creation of new jobs or new ways of doing the work that we currently do. It is in recognition of this fact that last month, after the dialogue of the 5 Nobel Prize winners hosted for the first time in Africa by UP, we have launched a Center for the Future of Work. We hope to work closely with the law fraternity, especially our esteemed donors and law firms in general, and the Minister of Justice, to rethink the curriculum, rethink the future of work, legal work, and ways of doing legal work together. 7, each and every member of the university must and has to play a role in eliminating preset beliefs, behaviors, and values. Curriculum transformation expects all UP members to take a critical stance on power and differences in the classroom and other institutional contexts, and to interweave multiple perspectives in order to integrate student voices and knowledge in the teaching and learning process. This is to the benefit and transformation of all in the institution. 7 areas of curriculum transformation which UP is currently revising include decolonizing the curriculum, student support, technology-enhanced teaching and learning, excellence in quality education, student retention and throughput, student access and sustainability, and reinventing assessment through alternative assessment systems. In all of this, we do not take the eye off the ball of students who are well skilled to be able to enter professions in ways in which they enhance their own careers, but also make a contribution to society and individual firms. Curriculum transformation must be guided by a new social democratization framework to ensure the creation of the well-being of society, address the socio-economic challenges of unemployment, poverty, and inequality that still persist in contemporary South Africa, and now even more in the wake of COVID-19. Curriculum transformation requires us to appreciate diversity and equity and inclusion as key elements of progress. Our approaches, attitudes, and ideas and stances need a rebirth, spreading our wings to bring forth the democratic beauty and freedom of our university, our country, and our continent, and our commitment to the achievement of the United Nations 17 Sustainable Development Goals, SDGs as they are commonly known, in the best interest of the investor of Pretoria, our African continent, and the world. As always, the power for this vision to take place lies in the underpinning frameworks and constitutions in which they are documented. Just as individuals as yourselves have bravely defended ideas in the past, so too must we heed the call now to discard archaic practices and embrace a significant metamorphosis to change the appearance and character of UP for the greater good of all, and now and into the future. And I can assure you, UP has discarded many archaic and outdated practices, embraces the new and leads in some of the new. Graduates and students, in the words of Mia Hamm, I quote, "Celebrate what you accomplish, but raise the bar each time you succeed," close quote. Keep up the hard work to be the best of the best. Your efforts will not go unrecognized. UP is very proud of all of you. Enjoy the rest of the evening with all of us.
Thank you very much, Professor Kupe. And ladies and gentlemen, now on behalf of the faculty, it is my pleasure to appreciate the kind words and the continuous support of the Vice-Chancellor and the broader university to the Faculty of Law. Ladies and gentlemen, donors, students, now it's my kind honor to announce the first awards which we are going to share with you this afternoon. And this relates to the first year LLB students on the Dean's Merit List for 2019 are as follows. The second year LLB students on the Dean's Merit List for 2019 are as follows. The third year LLB students on the Dean's Merit List for 2019 are as follows. Fatswana Henny Group Honor Medal for Degree with Distinction are as follows. The Exceptional Achievement Prizes and winners for 2019 are as follows. Ladies and gentlemen, now we move to the 2020 academic year. The first year LLB students on the Dean's Merit List for 2020 are as follows. The second year LLB students on the Dean's Merit List for 2020 are as follows. The third year LLB students on the Dean's Merit List for 2020 are as follows. The Fatswana Henny Group Honor Medal for Degree with Distinction are as follows. The Exceptional Achievement Prizes and winners for the 2020 academic year are as follows. Ladies and gentlemen, donors, staff, and the broader UP community, now allow me to announce the Lecturers Award for Exceptional Teaching and Learning for the 2019 academic year to Dr. Jannie van Wyk. And for the 2020 academic year, due to the fact that all staff, in particular the academic staff, went beyond and above to ensure that we complete the 2019 academic year with ease due to the COVID pandemic, would like to dedicate this award to the entire UP Faculty of Law academic staff for the 2020 academic year. Colleagues, ladies and gentlemen, allow me now to call on Professor Schoeman to announce the outstanding performer of the 2019 and 2020 academic years, respectively. Professor Schoeman.
Thank you, Professor Maimela. The Dean's Award for the graduate with outstanding undergraduate academic achievement during the 4-year LLB degree goes to Roxanne Westphal for 2019. The 2019 Medal of the Vice-Chancellor and Principal for a candidate with outstanding undergraduate academic achievement during all the undergraduate years of study for any first bachelor's degree in a faculty also goes to Roxanne Westphal. Congratulations, Roxanne. The 2020 Dean's Award for the graduate with outstanding undergraduate academic achievement during the 4-year LLB degree goes to Felix Ronald Schroeder. And the 2020 Medal of the Vice-Chancellor and Principal for a candidate with outstanding undergraduate academic achievement during all the undergraduate years of study for any first bachelor's degree in a faculty also goes to Felix Ronald Schroeder. Congratulations, Felix. Back to the Deputy Dean. Thank you, Professor.
Ladies and gentlemen, now we've reached the end of our program, and I'd like to express a word of appreciation as well as congratulating to all the performers as well as your loved ones, and also to express gratitude to Professor Kupe, Professor Schoeman, the UP Law Student Administration and Office of the Dean and Academic Departments, as well as the Louis Klute production team for helping us to execute this role with ease. In conclusion, I would like to express gratitude once more and also to urge the UP community, in particular our students, that please stay safe and stay blessed and enjoy the rest of your recess due to the fact that now it's a recess. And we look forward to welcoming you with new energy in the second semester, as well as our academic staff, as well as professional staff, to take it a little bit easy in these two weeks of recess. But we hope that we will meet again in person once the COVID-19 restrictions become eased. But from the side of the Dean, as well as the entire Dean's office, would like to thank you, and we look forward to working with you in the next semester. And from our side, please take care and stay safe. Bye for now.